Every day it's a win. Since I was told that you don't want me, baby, you're just calling. You know I try to hold on to where there's no you.
What is up, Tube, and welcome back to another tutorial by Big Al's Barber channel. We are a great resource for barber students, barbers, and barbershop owners, guys. We are here to educate and motivate and get you going on your barbering career. Guys, what we're doing on this young gentleman right here, guys, is we are going to do a zero razor fade. Nothing on top because he has his curls up there, so we're just going to do a razor fade on the sides. And the strange thing about this one is we're going to leave his sideburns. We're going to do a zero fade, but we're going to leave little tiny ice pick sideburns on the sides. Strange because you know, usually a zero fade doesn't have any sideburns, but this gentleman wears glasses and he wanted his sideburns, so we're going to accommodate and just do it. Hey, the customer's always right. What customer wants is what the customer gets, and you're going to see at the end it actually looks really cool. So when we're getting started here, guys, is we're going to get started using our skeletorized Babyliss Gold FX skeleton trimmer. It's not out yet, so you really can't find it unless you pre-order it. But basically what I'm doing is creating my guideline. I'm kind of going with a medium low fade, not too high on the sides, and we're just taking it lightly around the edges. Well, not lightly, we're taking it all the way down, lightening it all up, as you can see, and creating the first guideline all the way around. You could do this guideline with any type of trimmer that you might need or have. I could use a Balder, you could use a GTX, whatever it is you're using to create that first guideline. Mostly what we're going to use on this fade too, guys, is we're going to use detachables. As you guys already know in my videos, whenever I do ethnic hair, I usually do it with detachable blades, and the reason being is because the hair is so tight and curly that the detachable is just, it gets it nice and tight, leaves it a little bit smoother. So those of you already know my videos, guys. The way I cut is I cut it in sections. If you're standing behind your client, I do the left side first, the back side, and then the right side. So what I'm doing first is I'm just creating a guideline all the way around, my zero guideline, nice and even, guys. Just getting it all nice and tight. Everything below it is a zero. Everything gets balded out below it. Like I said, you could use any type of trimmer to do this part right here. You could use any kind of trimmer, you know, if you wanted to zero out. Some people even zero it out with the machine itself that you use to fade. But for this instance, we're just using our skeletorized trimmer, the newest one. If you guys are interested in getting this machine, right now it's kind of difficult to get because it hasn't been dropped yet, so it's not coming out till I think July or August. But there you can see it's all zeroed out nice and even. And like I said, the way we're going to do this haircut, guys, is we're going to do detachables. Guys, before we continue, I screwed up and I didn't videotape the left side, so we're going to go straight to the back side, guys. So basically what we did on the other side is we start off right here. We're going to start off with our number 1.5, guys, and we're just going to go up right up the sides, or without going into the curls. We're going off the parietal ridge, okay? So basically, even though we skipped the other side, we're still looking at 2 more sides, and you can basically get the same concept of it. But we're going with the 1.5 first, guys. 1.5. The 1.5 detachable using the octane, Oster octane. Any of these machines that you see here, guys, and you see me using, any products that you see me using, if you guys are interested in purchasing them, I have links to everything in my description of these videos. Okay, now that I got with 1.5, now I'm going to put my 1A blade. And I'm only going to go almost to the same spot, but just a little bit lower, guys. And you can see it's already lightening up tremendously. I'm going to go almost to the same spot where I went with the 1.5, just a little bit lower, without creating a guide or anything, you know. You see that? I kind of, you know, I cut it in different directions because I see the hair, the way it curls up. I'm just trying to get under there. So now that I got the 1A, now I'm going to go with the number 1. We're going in steps. Remember, we went with the 1.5 first, then we went with the 1A, and now we're going with the 1. And we're just not going to go as high. Probably the same spot, but not. Now that we're done with the 1, we're going to go with the 1A. Now we're going to put the number 1 blade. And we're only going to go halfway up, guys. Halfway up. And at the same time, when you get to that spot where you see, you kind of pull, you see me kind of pulling up, just because I don't want to create another shadow there. So remember, we're doing steps. We went with a 1.5 first, and we went right up to the curls, and then we went 1A, and then we went with the number 1. And the number 1, we're only going halfway up, just lining up the bottom, basically, just getting it all nice and tight. This is a simple way of fading ethnic hair, guys. If you guys are having trouble fading ethnic hair, I encourage you guys to use your detachables, because detachables are the way to go. So now that I did the 1A, now I'm going to grab my gold Babyliss FX, and I'm going to go right up and create a guideline. See that? About 1 inch high. And you can hardly see the guideline because it almost blends in. Once I go across, the lever's open. Now I'm going to lower my lever 1 notch, and I'm going to go back. And just same thing, focusing on the bottom line, just trying to push that bottom shadow up towards the middle. Have you guys seen my videos before? I fade down, then fade up, and then we meet in the middle, and then blend it all out, if that makes any sense. So as I went across, I lowered my lever another notch, halfway. Now I'm going only halfway up. As you can see, if you notice on this machine, the blade has a black blade on it, and what that is that's the new Babyliss graphite blade. It works really good if you guys are interested in replacing your blades on your Babyliss. So now that I'm going across, I lower my lever all the way, and I'm just trying to push that bottom shadow up. As you see, there's still a little light shadow at the bottom, so what I'm going to do is grab my GTX, and I'm just going to push that shadow up. Push it in towards the middle of the guideline that we created, okay? Not pushing it all the way up, only halfway up. As you push it halfway up, you create kind of a little bit of a guideline there, a little bit of a shadow. What you do is you go back with your Babyliss with the lever open 2 notches and just push that shadow up. See right there, I put my half clip on, and I'm just going to work on that center shadow. And that's the shadow that I created with a half. Remember that, when I created it with a half. So I'm just going up and just gliding it across. Very simple, guys. Very simple steps. If you guys follow these steps, it's very simple to fade this way. As I go across, I lower my lever 1 notch, and I'm just working on that center shadow, guys. Guys, on my channel, if you guys subscribe to my channel, I have a playlist of tutorials that I've made over the years, over the last 2 years, and there's over 40 tutorials on that list, guys. If you guys go back, there's so many good tutorials on there to look at and check it out, and the easy steps that I use for fading. Anybody could do it. See right here, I went back with my 1919 because I was struggling with that center shadow, as you guys could see. So what I did is I grabbed my Wahl 1919, and that's what you do, guys. That's what you do when you're struggling with a certain machine or a certain shadow or a certain line or something. Then you got to pick up a different machine. Don't get stuck with the same machine all the time. That's why I have a variety of machines. This is one of my top 3 machines. For fading, I use my Babyliss, I use my 1919, and the cordless Wahl. Those are my top 3 machines that I like to use for fading, guys. And then, you know, of course, my detachables is a different story. Detachables are used for taking down bulk, but I don't really use them for fading. I mean, you could use them for fading. It's possible, but to me, it just seems like more work. So now we're sliding over to the other side, guys. And again, we're leaving the curls on top. So we're just going to go with the 1.5, and we're just going to go right up to the side. Up the side of the crown, guys, to the top. Right up to the parietal ridge without going in and going into the curls. Nice and even. And once I do that, guys, it's just basically you're leveling on your field right there. You're going right up to the curls without going into the curls. You don't want to mess with the curls. The curls we're not going to do anything to. So one with the 1.5. Again, guys, detachable blades is easier to fade with ethnic hair. In case nobody's told you, it's easier to fade with ethnic hair. I think it's just the way the structure of their hair. It just easier for it to cut. You know what I mean? And the detachable blades cut smoother and nicer anyway. So now that I did that 1.5, now I'm gonna go with my 1A. Remember, the 1A is a blade that is between the 1 and the 1.5. So it's a 1A, and I'm gonna go up almost to the same spot again. Almost to the same spot, and you can see right there, guys, I left the sideburn. I didn't cut the sideburn off, so when I did my guideline, I left the sideburn completely on. And what I'm gonna do with that sideburn is I'm gonna thin it out and then line it up and make it real nice and thin, like real thin ice picks. So now that I did with the 1A, now I'm going to put the number 1 on, and I want to go up halfway only. Fading with detachables, guys. This is what it's called, fading with detachables right here. It's very simple steps, very easy. Going halfway up. Now they go halfway up. Now I'm going to grab my machine again, and I'm going to lever open, and I'm going to create a guideline about maybe 3/4 of an inch up, using the Babyliss again. It's kind of a shadow, like a little bit of a shadow. It's almost blending out, so you almost don't even need to go back with it. As I go across, I lower my notch lower my lever 1 notch, and then I'm going to go back up to the same spot again. Then as I go across again, I'm going to lower my machine another notch, which is halfway now, and I'm going to push that shadow up, halfway up. Just pushing it halfway up. Now I'm going to lower my lever completely closed, and I'm just working on the bottom line, just trying to push that bottom shadow up. All that's left is the center shadow, I call the half shadow, and the half shadow we take out with a half clip. But first, before we do that, we got to make sure that there's no line at the bottom. There's nothing worse than leaving their initial guideline at the bottom of your fade, guys. If you guys are leaving a little halo around your client, and you need to clean that up. That's a big major no-no in the barber industry. Leaving halos, leaving lines all the way around. So right there, I'm using my Babyliss again, and I'm just kind of cleaning up that sideburn. As you can see, I'm just going to shape it out. It's like a little ice pick almost. Who remembers the ice pick sideburns? They're really not around much no more. I remember when I first came out in the game that there was a lot of everybody wanted pointy sideburns. Now it's rare the day you get somebody who wants pointy sideburns. That's why when this gentleman brought it back, he's all like, I want my sideburns. And I'm like, your sideburns? How do you want sideburns when you're getting a 0 fade? He goes, just cut them off right there and shape them out. And I'm like, just a little line. He's all, yep, that's what I want. And I'm like, okay, all right, I hear you. He's like, I wear glasses anyway. So once he puts his glasses on, you can see the little sideburn there, and it looks kind of cool because you can see the fade above his glasses. So, it's actually a very, very interesting that the customer, that he wanted it this way. But you know what? Customers are always right, guys. Sometimes customers come in with these crazy ideas or crazy pictures of these crazy haircuts, and you got to try to accommodate them. I like when somebody comes in with a picture of a haircut and it's a picture of a bad haircut, and I'm like, I could do that better, don't worry. Or when they come with a picture of a badass haircut from from this YouTube barber or somebody else's barber, and you're like, oh man. But always do your best. That's the best way. Right here, guys, we're just working on the detail of the fade right here, just trying to make sure that there's no lines in the middle. Again, I go back to my old trustworthy 1919, guys. If you guys don't have the 1919, I encourage you guys to get that for your arsenal of machines. It is probably the best machine out there. So I'm pushing up that center shadow. At this point, the fade is pretty much done, guys. This is all detail work right here. Just trying to clean it up, trying to make it look as nice as possible. Detail work is always very important when you're doing haircuts. That's the portion at the end where you want to make sure that everything looks proper. Even doing a little bit of clipper over comb. Clipper over comb is to make sure that it blends in from the parietal ridge, from the side of the head to the top of the head. And him having the little sponges on top, it's kind of like, I just don't want nothing sticking out. So I'm just going to do a little bit of clipper over comb, clean it up. Steel tooth combs, if you guys are interested in that comb right there, that's what it's called, steel tooth combs. There's a link in my description if you guys are interested in getting one. The 1919 is 0 gap, guys, in case you guys are wondering, but it is 0 gap using a different, you have to change the certain lever to be able to do that. If you guys are interested, there's a video that I made for that. Just concentrating on that side right there, guys. As always, when my fades are done, I always finish off all my fades with my Braun Series 9, guys, and this is the difference between a great haircut and you know, and a not so great haircut. It is that if you're finishing with detail at the end of your haircut, and by detail I mean stuff like this, you know, doing the little bit extra of shaving it, maybe might be with a straight razor if the client, you know, requests it that way, or shaving it with at least a photo shaver or one of these Braun Series 9 shavers. You have to shave it. If you're doing fades and you're not shaving them, you're leaving stubble there, and you're leaving stubble there. Your haircuts are not going to come out smooth. They're just not, and they're not going to last as long. Like I always tell my clients, you know what, you might as well get a fade, because a fade is going to last you longer and you're not going to come back as often. And then usually once they get a fade, they don't ever want to get a taper again or a regular haircut. Usually fades are in, and that's what they want to get. I guess that's why at my shop is mostly we do fades. We hardly ever do regulars or any other type of haircut. It's I would say 80% of our business is fades. So right here I'm just continuing with the shave, just, you know, making sure that everything's nice and smooth. Right here I noticed there was a little bit of darkness right there, so I'm going again with the 1.5, like we started off with the 1.5, and just making sure that side blended in right. But at this point the fade's pretty much done. We're just kind of doing a little bit of detail work, and then what I'm going to do right now is finish shaving it, and then we're going to work on the lineup. These are not my first time doing this gentleman. This gentleman is one of my regulars that comes here to our shop. So, you know, after building a little bit of a rapport with him, he agreed to let me videotape this haircut. So I really appreciate this. So right there, I'm just working. If you notice, when my elbow wasn't there, it's a little bit dark right there. So I'm basically just trying to blend it out, trim it out, using the Wahl 1990, the little shadows right there in the middle. You don't want shadows, you won't want lines, guys. That's what you don't want. You can see the sideburn right there. I'm just gonna kind of working on a little bit more detail, making sure that side is blended out properly. And again, guys, these videos, these tutorials are always filmed in real time, and the reason why I do it in real time is because I just feel like you'll get a better feel of what the haircut really actually takes, instead of me speeding through it and trying to do it too fast. I just feel that when I do them in real time, it allows for you to see exactly what it takes to do these haircuts, because in reality my haircuts are 30 minutes. You know, this haircut took me probably like 25 minutes, so it gives me enough time to finish them off and get my next client in there. The Braun Series 9, guys. The Braun Series 9, that's the beast of a machine. If you guys don't have one, I encourage you guys to get one. If you guys don't want to pay the money for a Braun Series 9, buy the Braun Series 7. The Braun Series 7 is just as good as a Braun Series 9. Trust me, guys, it'll save you so much time. The way it mows down the stubble is nothing compared to a foil shaver. So now that we're done with that, guys, now we're going to work on the lineup. And the lineup on this gentleman, as always, you guys already know, if you guys have been watching my videos, I do not do the lineup all the way across. I do one side. As I stand this way, I'm always standing behind my client, and I'm going to do one side, then I'll spin him around and I'll do the other side. And I always start in that corner and I move my way towards the middle, just like I'm doing right there. Trying to get that 90-degree angle. You want to get that 90-degree angle in that corner. Doing the side right there too. The other day we made a video, and somebody was saying something about that I didn't do the lineup properly. And you know me, I'm not really a lineup guy. I mean, I do lineups, of course. You see them doing them all the time, but I'm not the type of person that's gonna push a person's hairline back. I like to just leave it as natural as possible. So sometimes I leave it a little bit too low, and it feels like maybe you guys feel like I should push it up a little bit more. It's just, you know, me myself, I'm not a lineup type of guy. You know, I don't think everybody should get a lineup. Only certain people need them. Only certain people should get them. But you know, that's creative criticism right there. You know, so you can see one side's done, the other side's lower. I spin him around. This is what I mean by spin him around. Now I'm on the other side of him, and it's the same concept. I lower him down, And I'm just going to start right there where I left off in the middle with the guideline right there, and I'm going to go across, going towards that corner. And at that corner is where the 90-degree angle is going to be. See how the little hairs fall forward, so I push them up, lift them up, so I can get under there and get that line nice and crisp. When a client looks in the mirror, this is one of the first things he's going to see, so it's essential to get a good lineup, guys. And you know what, again, lineups is another thing that, you know, it just requires reps. The more reps you do, the better you're going to get at them, the better you're going to get at doing them. It's just something that has to be done, you have to get good at. And the only way to get good at it is doing it. You could watch a million videos and not do any lineups, and the first time you do it, it's going to be difficult. And yet you got people that have never seen a video and doing a million lineups, and they do them very easily, because it's just hands-on is the best experience, always. The Babyliss Gold FX Scalaterized Trimmer, guys. I encourage you guys to get that. It's a bad boy of a machine. That's pretty much it for this haircut, guys. You know, there was a simple haircut because we didn't do nothing to the top. It was basically just a fade on the sides and a lineup. But as always, right here, I'm going to undrape my client. And then once you undrape your client, if you look below his hairline, you'll always notice that there's little hairs. So you always got to clean up the neck, guys. It's very important to do the detail parts, such as cleaning the neck, not leaving any hair. Things like this remind me right now, because right now my son's going through this as an apprentice, so I have to explain everything to him all over again. But you know, pull the hairline, pull the shirt level down, the hair shirt line, and make sure that there's enough room right there where you bring the hair down. Don't leave hair on the neck. The hair on the neck is the worst thing you could leave, guys. I hate to see when somebody gets a nice haircut and then they leave them a nice ring of hair all the way around their neck. That looks horrible. Clean it up. Make it look good, guys. We have to take pride in our work in order for our work to look good. You know, if you don't take pride in your work, then your work's not going to be top notch. You know, it's all about being prideful of what you're doing. So at this point, the haircut's done. So what we're going to do now is we're going to always when I do a lineup, I'm going to sharpen it up with a straight razor, and what I'm using is some clear gel on there, clear shave gel. You guys already know I use clear shave gel on the lineups, and the reason why is because I want to see where I'm going. If I put Barber lather on there, then it would be white, and you can't really see where you're going. And the hairline is one place you don't want to cut somebody. You want to make sure you give them a nice crispy lineup. So using shave gel is the best way, I think. I would consider that on your next lineup, guys. Remember, guys, Big Al's Barber Channel is here to help you guys get motivated and educated in the barber industry, so you guys can further your career, guys. Guys, September 27th, we are holding a class here in the Los Angeles area at my shop, Big Al's Barbershop, in the city of Azusa, California. This class will consist of 3 YouTube channels: myself, Big Al's Barber Channel, Run the Barber. They are from Scotland. If you guys haven't heard from them, they are badass barbers. There's also Ant the Barber, who is from Washington, who's originally from Riverside, California. So we're all going to be collabing, guys, on our way to the Alvi Barber Expo, which is on September 29th. But we're going to make a pit stop on Friday, September 27th at my shop for a 4-hour class from 6 to 10 p.m., guys. We're going to do approximately 6 demos. And it's going to be filled with nothing but haircutting and business talk about the barber business, guys. If you guys are interested in joining us, we're going to be going over crop tops, scissor cuts, fades, everything, guys. So if you guys are interested, I encourage you guys to click the link below in the description to get tickets for this event. The tickets are only $50, but it's going to be so well worth it, guys. We're also be doing raffles, and we're going to be giving away goodie bags also. So if you guys are interested, check that link below. But guys, this haircut's done. This is it. This is what it takes. This is what it's all about, guys. You know, follow these easy steps and you guys can do this yourself, guys. With that being said, I appreciate you guys watching these tutorials, and you guys keep grinding and keep moving and keep going, guys. This is what it's all about. Get up every day and do your thing. With that being said, grind on.